Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Part 31. In the previous video we began putting the screws to Damon Gantz, the final enemy we have in the game. We're trying to prove that he murdered Detective Bruce Goodman and had something to do with the SL9 incident, some of the jiggery pokery that happened there. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. Yeah, all that evidence. Yeah. All in this time, I thought it was just a useless clue just taking up space. Okay, what's a useless clue? The parking stuff. What's something we've never used? The screwdriver. We've never used the screwdriver. I still don't know why the screwdriver's important. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this out. Okay, so the screwdriver evidence brought back to his office, like maybe the screwdrivers to mess with Edgeworth so they could put the thing in his car or steal. Cause right, so the body would have been put into his car and he would have driven it there to the prosecutor's office. They didn't transport it. Edgeworth transported it unknowingly. Okay. To move? I don't... Okay. That's a really good hint. I thought it was a useless clue, just taking up space, because it kind of instantly narrows down what it could possibly be. You know it's got to be something that's never been used before, which... It's either like, piece of cloth, evidence law. But you also kind of assume it's something that we got a long time ago based on his line. Like, that's like a perfect clue, I think. That's how he moved Detective... This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? Phoenix, do we need to give you a mental evaluation? Or what does that have to do with the case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here to drive screws, of course. Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. So that's why he would have driven to the prosecutor's office. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office, but you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. I mean, the body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car! Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body of your accomplice, or to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! Order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. The photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe... Time's up. Like, time's up? Alright, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. But it's like 2 p.m., dude. What the fuck are you talking about? But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? This is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. You're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? Yes, that is what we're saying. But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, Do you think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gantz is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, I'd like to... We should save, by the way. I don't know how many lives we have left. Or mistakes. Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body? Do I have any concrete proof? Do we have proof? I don't know. I gotta keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence. Please hurry up and present it. Just remember, better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of the doubt. Okay? Okay. Well, I would say... I mean, I've been thinking knife, but I'm trying to make sure I'm not going to jump in without thinking. But I'm also like, I can't think of anything but knife. Alright, let's try knife. So, what exactly is this evidence? Oh, fuck you. It's proof. Oh, okay. Wait. Maybe not fuck you? As to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt, I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. It's a figure of speech, damn it. Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? You're a big dummy. You're a stupid man. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Uji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize— What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. Seems the Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Uji, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the senior office and— What are you talking about? Lady Luck? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? Oh, I see what you're getting at, edgy boy. There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth. Just who is this person? Yeah, who could it be? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? May not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. The defense calls forth Mike Meekins. The defendant? Miss Lena Skye? Was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat! Listen good, Lena. He's talking to Lena, Lana, whatever. I'd say her name different every time, I think. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Actually, I'm right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Well, that was fucking weird. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Ooh, pizza, pizza, pizza. I think it's 2:04, dude. You're not getting no early bird special, you piece of garbage. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. I guess so maybe this won't be the... I was maybe thinking this would be the finale, but I don't know. It probably won't be the finale, but what I might do is I might just record, like, all in one shot, and then just split the videos up appropriately so that we don't end up with, like, a 20-minute long finale. I haven't decided. And Chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe! I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. We're gonna return our law license now. My office? Sure! I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. What? Did he mean... Maya? Oh yeah, I guess her hair. I guess maybe he's referring to like the little, like her hair thing. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gantz done it again. How does he always get the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, there is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. I mean, I assume if you can, like, charge him with a crime, right? You could maybe force him to testify? Risk? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits its right to say anything, too? What? I'll pretend that made sense. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, just mentally scarred. Yeah, I came, too. I was in the, medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, sorry about that whole, like, spelling your name out in blood thing. No harsh feelings, right? Nah, don't be. It was the truth. No, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. And to think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. She did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gantz's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. Forced herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to. That must be why she became so cold. Talking from personal experience there, edgy boy? It was all my fault. All because I murdered... Actually, no. It's all Joe Dark's fault because he murdered people that, you know, put this whole sequence of events into place. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Oh no, Gumshoe, you're not allowed to work at our at our office anymore. He's just gonna be watching Fight Club on repeat. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, better get back. Time for the final act. Why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. Ah, a boombox operator. Hell yeah, girl. I want to be there. Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. Time to end this. Oh boy. Alrighty, final session. Let's go. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? This will probably end up being like a second video. I don't know. What I think I'll do is I'm just gonna record straight through until we actually like beat the game, and then probably just kind of split it. So this video will probably end without like an actual outro, because I assume there's probably about 2 hours left, but you never really know. Ms. Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course. Truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with the Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. So if you're gonna lie, make it obvious. I worked alongside Gant for many years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. I always want to call him Drake. I guess because it ends in an E, which is like abnormal. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? Shut up! She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something deep inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Hell yeah, we will. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Okay, why am I reading this and not pressing? I was like, this seems kind of vaguely familiar. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. See, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. He must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gantz was a respectable detective. That's why. Incorrect. But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. What she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Anna, that's why you fabricated that evidence 2 years ago? You say you did this all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Seems I was the first person to discover the scene. Broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unforeseen accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. That is so. What happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle, but it's got blood on it. But it's got blood on it. Oh. Granted, I guess it has the blood on it from the recent murder, but that's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. And also, I mean, they found part of the knife in, well, I guess that's supposed to be the forged. I don't know. It's kind of getting a little confusing even to see between like what are the lies she's presented earlier, what are the new lies, and what's the truth? All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Okay, we're probably gonna have to revisit that scene again. For that press. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body. But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gantz's desk. The body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Skye moved the body. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show us that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed? I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. I committed this fabrication completely alone. Okay, yeah, well, I don't believe you. You rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying! Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insisted she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. Okay. Hey, Joe Dark was a serial killer. Okay, not this line. This one. You say you did this all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at this crime scene? Okay, so the knife... She says the knife was stuck in the victim. Now, I do have to somewhat doubt that because, Look at that thing. That thing ain't stabbing nobody, but, you know, whatever. Artistic license. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Something like that. That is so. What happened to the other murder weapon? He was carrying a knife. I was lying on the floor a little distance away. Not how it went down. She's trying to cover up. So we can't get that other prompt again? Why would you do that? You of all people should know. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. Oh, there it is. Yeah, why did you plant the knife? But why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. The reason Miss Guy fabricated. Be all proof we needed. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was a murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found in the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound. Because I hated Dark for what he did. I don't know, nothing's jumping out at me. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it, period. You're so desperate to hide that fact. You're willing to risk the death sentence. She's lying! Okay. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay, okay. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. Like, I mean, there's a contradiction there, like, you know, she's speaking as if our scenario is what happened in this exchange, but I don't really know, I don't think that's what the game's looking for. Like, it's a contradiction, but it's not, you know, that's kind of one of the problems with these, like, scenarios where where the game only wants one contradiction, but there's several, where you have to, like, try and figure out, like, which one is really there, or how do you prove one of the contradictions with what the game gives you. Because, you know, when she says, like, didn't want that to ruin her life, like, you know, she was already traumatized, so she's not referring to that. She's referring to the possibility that she could have been charged with a crime for defending herself. Now, I still don't know why you moved the body. Moving the body doesn't really... I don't quite get it. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. Like, I mean, she's moving the body to make the idea that he was stabbed with the spear less likely, or less believable. But that kind of implies that that theory is correct. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was by Chief Gantz's desk. The body was found by your desk. They shattered during my events, which threatened my plan. Pieces of jar, you mean that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, When you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. So, one angle you could look at this from is that obviously that would mean Damon had something to do with it, because the evidence was discovered at the scene of the crime. So I'm gonna try. It was shattered at the time the crime was committed. I have a feeling there's more to it than that. Okay, I don't see anything there. Oh, if it was shattered, how could he write on it? That should have been so obvious. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister? You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? That truth would be exposed now. The past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan?" That's right. You have a problem with that? It's simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must have not yet been broken before he died. Play the music! Emma, play the music! Emma! Quit writing in your notebook and play the music, damn it! She couldn't have written Emma's name. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Emma, oh god, the tape. It's been eaten by the boombox. Order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. You may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Alrighty. That's a good first prompt. You know, preyed more on me being a dummy than actually being hard, but, good prompt. I like it. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? Wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. I wasn't Chief Prosecutor. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence? Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Shut up. Not as feeble as the judge's judgment. Fucking got him. Nuclear level burn from Phoenix Wright. You were an ace detective. Ace detective? You never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No, if I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I had barely just enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, he wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Anna, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. But how could you have seen with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Shut up, nerd. Even I never miss anything. I got every last piece. Got every last piece, eh? Do you illegally rearrange the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuse for my actions. So sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up with what visitation she gets in prison. I mean, when you're both free and clear. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain in the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions of service in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Yeah, obviously. Gosh, can't even believe you have to... You don't know it, Phoenix. I mean, there's a piece of cloth which you still haven't used. An oil stain. More likely, the person slipped and fell on a freshly waxed floor, getting wax all over their hand. I don't see what's so scientific about it. I always slip on the floors at school after they're waxed. Okay. So we previously hadn't been able to look through this, I don't think. Let's go through it one more time. Jar was broken. It's a miracle it hadn't broken earlier. So it was dark. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered the pieces and ground them to dust. Must have been in a hurry. So you wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action reveals what really happened. If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in this situation? The fragments were large, so I'm sure you got them all. I mean, like, you know, my brain keeps going to, like, trying to connect this back to the previous thing where he said that, you know, the evidence, if it was found after Dark was convicted, then him having it wouldn't have been a big deal, but obviously it was found beforehand. But I guess you could make the argument that maybe, Lana concealed that. You got every last piece. Just not really seeing anything right now. He's not doing this the right way. I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. So, well, here's a question. There's blood on the jar. I just don't know how we connect the piece of cloth or evidence law, which are like the two pieces of evidence we haven't used. Okay. Maybe he says something about I never miss a trace. I think is it here? How could you have seen with the power out? A detective is always prepared. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got... this is a big stretch, but I have to go for it. If you never miss anything, why does this exist? Okay, it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. Fragments were large. I don't, like, if I just present the jar again, I'm gonna be kind of mad. I don't know. I don't know. It's just the jar again? Really? Okay. I believe this jar conceals a truth even you are unaware of. What? Found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gantz's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. Has she not been paying attention to her own damn trial? Something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. The witness just testified, and she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up to the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. There you go, Emma, you finally got the boombox play right. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. But aren't you supposed to be an ace attorney and you miss shit all the time? Shut up! Okay? I'm kind of sensitive about that. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Haha, can you believe that? Alright, we're moving to a different country. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. Hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break that jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer just that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gantz arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. Proceeded to break the jar. Proceeded and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped create evidence that incriminated Dark. Sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Oh, lady, you're not supposed to do that. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys always pick up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own client. I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth. Alright, you know what? We're fighting, Judge. When this trial is over, we're going out back and we're gonna box. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gantz's trap? Something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana. Maybe right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But evidence was fabricated behind your back. And Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't... There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Seriously, quit lying, lady. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. It's a spear. It's not a sword, dummy. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the... Why would you instantly... Like, it doesn't even make any sense. In all honesty, it makes way more sense that, like, Dark and them were struggling and maybe they, like, pushed each other back and Dark fell and bounced his head on the floor, but when he pushed him back, he went into the spear. Like, why would you presume Emma had anything to do with it? It's just kind of like a big stretch of logic. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it, but if it was all really a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. That body was impaled on the armor's sword? You're the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Didn't you say you had a camera? You got any camera proof? Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. Evidence law? Got a bird detective on it. Pretty cool. He's got a big pipe. Is that what's gonna prove your innocence? Sherlock Bird? What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. Thought it might be needed. Oh, is there a picture in the evidence book? I don't remember seeing, like, can I look at it? Oh, well, yeah, we can already check it like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well then, present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check the evidence. There must be a picture in there somewhere. I mean, the only thing we've gotten, the only new evidence we've gotten is this, so... Blasted? Ah! So that's why this is important. There's a picture here! Oh. Oh my. This is... actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had arranged everything. Lana's pictures inserted into the court record. Gasp! Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from this vest. Could this be... cloth we found inside Chief Gantz's safe? Is this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints... they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with this cross-examination. As long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. I don't know, I'm trying to think, because we're actually kind of at like a decent stopping point. Like, I could just end this video normally, and then the next video will be the true finale, like, for real. Because I feel like we're close. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. What? I didn't press any buttons? Ah. Hello. Come now, Uji! This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen! Chief Gant. What? Now you make me out to be the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I thought you were eating chicken salad right now. I'm afraid that it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Oh, he's gonna destroy us with his infinite power. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you. But I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Wright-o? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is this true, Mr. Wright? I'll show that piece of evidence now. You must sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. If you try to conceal it, anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present it? Can we explain it? That's the question. Yes, I think we can explain it. We can reasonably prove that it was a fabricated piece of evidence. So you know what? I'm going to, with 100% supreme confidence, show evidence. I do have further evidence. Time's finally come to show it to him. It's a piece of leather cloth? Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Wright-o has checked. Haven't you? Well, whose are they? Miss Skies. Emma Skies. What? They're mine? Oh, I really did do it? See, I told you it was all conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. You really expect me to believe that? But give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. Shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. Oh. It appears we have our killer. No! Give me a chance, dude. Don't bat in me, bro. In the end, what? Come on, man. That's so dumb. I kind of thought you were supposed to embrace the idea that You don't have to withhold evidence to, you know, prove and get the truth. I don't like that, actually. I feel like that kind of goes against the theme of the game slightly. I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief, unless we're supposed to present something different? You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. Oh, okay, so there we trick him into proving that it was in there naturally. Okay, that makes sense. I still kind of like the idea that, like, you could freely present the evidence and, you know, then using your lawyery powers, you'd be able to prove the truth without playing tricks, but, you know, what? It's fine. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together! Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gantz? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department since last Tuesday. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Wright. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it?